Hi, my name is Charlie Flagg, and I'm down here in Florida on vacation. I come down here every year. I'm a snowbird, I guess you call us. Anyway, I ran across a friend of mine from Florida, Doris Maddox, who she's in a lot of trouble, and I'd like to be able to help her 100%, but I can't because I don't have the knowledge. Anyway, Doris is going to tell you her story, and hopefully maybe somebody out there can help her or give her some good advice that she can use. Anyway, here's Doris, and Doris, you want to Doris is going to tell you a story. Anyway, I'll give you a few highlights. She's going to tell you a story about a guy that attempted murder, attempted arson, fraudulent documents, stealing, and there has been an alleged murder where this guy actually committed a murder, but there's no proof on that, and that's an allege. So I'm not saying he did it. I'm just saying other people said he did it. So consequently, here's Doris, and start your story and tell us from when you first met Abner, and take it from that point roughly up to today. There you go, Doris.
Greetings, America. I do need help desperately bad. My ex-husband of 10 years has filed a civil lawsuit against me. I met him back in the early 90s when I first returned to Florida from Ohio through a neighbor. Then there's been just so much went on throughout all the years. However, I was standing by him while I went to prison for murder for hire. He hired an undercover Polk County deputy sheriff here in Florida to commit murder with his ex-wife and also arson to burn the house down. A dump truck and $10,000 was involved. However, he did get arrested. He did get charged. He did go to prison in 2000. I believe it was September of 2000. He was released in March of 2009. However, after the 2000 episode, he also in prison hired his jailhouse lawyer to commit the same crime. So the day he was to be released, he was recharged, the same charges. Anyway, he did get released in 2009. And in 2007, he filed for a divorce from me the day after I had visited him at the prison on a Sunday. His associate filed it in Volusia County, Daytona Beach, Florida. However, they claimed they didn't know my whereabouts, which is a lie. I saw him on Sunday. He knew I was going to the cabin in Georgia, to Tennessee, Kentucky, and Ohio. My children live in Kentucky and Ohio. We had friends in Tennessee. And this is just my route and what I usually do in the summertime. I spend quality time with the grandkids when they're out of school. Anyway, he called me at my son's collect costs. He knew where I was the full time he was trying to get a divorce through down here. And in the process, he filed false liens and false deeds in Georgia and in Florida on all the properties. I tried to prosecute him back then for that. When I found out, they wouldn't do anything because he was incarcerated. So now I've refiled charges against him in all 4 areas. Through the state attorney's office and through the sheriff's department and through the police station. Hopefully they will go ahead and prosecute him on those charges. I believe in 2012 through 2014 he may have been on probation for the very same thing. It's called fraudulent process. And he's done it not only to me but to other people. And he seems to get away with what he does, and he doesn't stop. He just keeps repeating his offenses. This case, after trying the divorce without my knowledge and transferring things without my knowledge, which was illegal, now the civil lawsuit comes 10 years after being legally divorced from him. About 7 years after that divorce, I was requested or suggested by the Polk County Deputy Sheriff's Department to clear property that was in my name. It had quite a bit of abandoned junk, is what they classified it as. So I found someone to clear it up and clean it up because I had to do that anyway to do something with the property, which I have high hopes of getting to work with the county and getting something done for the community there. That was my plan. That's what I was in the process of doing when this lawsuit was filed. And it wasn't even served to me because originally it was filed, I think, back in 2015. It went on for a good 2 years. In 2017, October, the judge dismissed it. He closed it, dismissed with prejudice, which is the way it should be and should remain, because in April, I believe, of 2016, I had a notice for a case management hearing, which I knew nothing about. So I called the courthouse. I was told to write to the judge. He would answer me. That's exactly what I did. I have the letter to prove it. I didn't hear anything. A year goes by, in July of 2017, before I left to go north, which I usually do in the summer. However, in that particular year, I went a little bit later than normal, and I did send another letter. I did not get a response, and in October of 2017, it was closed, dismissed with prejudice. But November 2017, it was reinstated. The reason being they couldn't find me. They spent thousands of dollars with a private investigator to find me in a rural cabin in Georgia with no electric and no water, which is ridiculous. Abner Oss bought that cabin, gave it to me in front of my children in December of 1997 as a Christmas gift. And the electric has never been off, even during a hurricane, and the water is a well, which is run by a switch inside the cabin. That's ridiculous. Anyway, I think the case needs to be dismissed and closed because I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not a liar. I'm not a thief. And this whole thing is ridiculous, but it shows what people with a good income, like Abner has, and money can do whatever they want with a lawsuit, which is ridiculous. It shouldn't be allowed in our country of America. It just shouldn't be. And he has a good income. I have an income of $1,098 a month, which is very difficult to live on and pay higher expenses every year.
How much is Abner make a year, you think, or a month?
Probably close to $10,000 or better. He's getting his Air Force retirement pay. He's getting a disability for toenail fungus from the military, which is ridiculous, and his Social Security.
Disability for toenail fungus?
That's what he said it was for. He's the one that told me that.
Well, at least it wasn't for bone splints.
He also said when he got out of prison he would get a higher amount because he was going to fight with him, which he's probably done, knowing him and knowing the way this whole mess is going. But I just need help to get this thing cleared up and settled so that I can leave the state of Florida. I've had it. I've had it with him. It's playing havoc on my health. I'm a stroke patient. I've had 3 mini strokes, and I have 2 stents in my heart. And this is really playing havoc on me. It's ridiculous, and it's stupid. I had the property cleared by request of the Sheriff's Department. It needed to be cleaned up anyway to do something with it. I want to do something good for the community. That was my plan when my daughter got served with the summons. They didn't even serve me with this summons. They served my daughter. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is. And the lawyers I have talked to do not call me back. And I think that's ridiculous too. But I can't pay $300, $500 an hour for an attorney. That's out of the question. And he filed bankruptcy while incarcerated.
For that lawyer that charges $300 an hour, do you actually find the average person can afford to hire you? Because I don't know that many people that can give you $300 an hour to work. I mean, the average person in this state makes what, $10, $15, $12?
$8 an hour, I think. Is
Well,
minimum
right.
wage.
So how does that person pay you $300 an hour, lawyer? How does that happen? Anyway, now we're going to show you Abner Haas's criminal record, which is quite interesting. Okay, we're back from the break again. My name is Charlie Flagg, and I think let me capitalize what's really going on here. Abner Haas winds up in jail, I think for 9 years, for trying to have his second wife executed, not only once but twice. So while he's incarcerated, he divorces his then third wife, Doris Maddox, and in the divorce settlement, Doris winds up with some, I believe, 20 acres of property over in Polk County, Florida, along with a condo hotel in Daytona Beach. Now, this is what the courts awarded Doris. So, for 9 years, or 7 years, I believe it was, Doris lives with no problems. Then as she gets a little older, she's starting to have really bad, some dental problems, and really painful. And Doris is trying to live on, I think it is a little under $1,200 or $1,100 a month, which means she didn't have a lot of money to take care of the pain in her teeth. She had some junk that was on the property that was awarded to her by the courts. Doris then says, well, let me get rid of some of this property, this junk, number one, for two reasons, because the cops asked me to, because there was vandals in the area, and since I did clean it up, there has been no more problems with the police. Matter of fact, I myself witnessed this conversation because I was at the police station when all this paperwork took place. So, excuse me. Then, what happens is she sells this stuff, and about 3 years ago, it was sold. Now, Abner comes along with this frivolous lawsuit stating that she sold his property. First of all, he gives her some vague list of the property that was allegedly his, that was stolen off the property, with number one, not one receipt, not one serial number, not one nothing. Just a list. It'd be a list that I could have sat down and wrote up. It doesn't matter. It's just a list. So anyway, now, Doris is 74 years old, and somebody might say, who the hell cares? Well, I care because she's a friend of mine. And Doris is going downhill quickly because of the pressure that Abner is putting on her. So, I mean, her heart's getting faster, she's losing weight, she's not eating, she's not sleeping, and from what I understand, she's waking up crying. So, this is not healthy for her. I believe that Abner has found a legal way to actually get rid of his third wife. He tried unsuccessfully with his second one twice. Abner, you gotta stop this shit. Stop it. You don't need the goddamn money. You're making $10,000 a month. You get what, $1,000 a month for a toe fungus from the Air Force? For Christ's sakes, people are trying to live on what your toe fungus is paying you. And you're going after some 74-year-old lady? Come on, Abner. Straighten up, fella. Jesus Christ almighty. You're giving Ronnie, your lawyer, Ronnie, you must be really pretty good. You got that old fool out of jail. But what you're doing is you're helping him indirectly or directly. I don't know. You may not even be aware of it. But what you're doing is you're making Doris really, really sick. And again, I don't blame you. You're making a good income, I guess, because of it. Anyway, with that being said, anybody that can help this lady out, let her know. At the end here, we'll give you her name and her phone number and how to reach her. If any lawyer out there can give her some advice, And serious. I mean, if anybody can send in $5-10 to help so we can hire a lawyer. Nobody wants to. The next segment we do on this Doris story, and that's coming out in a day or two, is all the runaround and the court system in the state of Florida. If you're poor and you have no money, so far it's looking like to me, and I'm not an expert again, but I've been on this little merry-go-round for just a short period of time. And if you don't have any money, you can't afford justice. And hopefully, if anybody thinks I'm wrong, tell me how you can afford it, and I'd be happy to apply it. But anyway, here's Doris's list. Of inventory that Abner allegedly says that Doris took off her property that was her property. Anyway, this is like, I feel like I'm watching an episode of Fantasy Island. The plane boss, remember that one, the plane? There's no there's no receipts, there's no bill of sale, there's nothing. You could have put a gold statue in there worth $3 million. Well, who would know the difference? And I really can't believe that Florida law would allow something like that to happen. I really can't. Anyway, with that being said, I'm closing this particular segment.
Okay, now start.
Okay, well, we got to wrap this up because you're probably getting a little bored. But anyway, Doris does need your help. This guy is trying to put her down. And she's under a lot of pressure. She can't function normally. And she needs a lot of help, guys. Somebody out there help her. So anyway, good night. Goodbye. God bless America. And we'll see you later.